to get them registered by 2024, and they'll have to complete a background check. This was the fifth gun control bill passed by the Colorado General Assembly during the legislative session. I'm Jeremy Scott.
Authorities in Hong Kong are cracking down more than ever on people trying to mark the anniversary of the uprising in Tiananmen Square. In the past, tens of thousands have gathered in Hong Kong to mark today. COVID ended that, helped along now by police. It's not the same look, and it has nothing like the little four-cylinder engine it shared with the Beetle, but the Volkswagen microbus is back, sort of. The new version is called the ID Buzz. It's about the same size as the classic microbus of the 50s and 60s. The Buzz has that name for a reason, though. It's electric. By the way, the official name of what we called the microbus was the Volkswagen Transporter. I'm Rich Johnson, USA News.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. We know this is a hard time for you, and this fund has been set up by the federal government to help ease your pain. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. All legal fees are only covered once you
for Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look into combat sports. Ring Talk Live Worldwide, brought to you by the WBC, the World Boxing Council.
It is absolutely necessary that we all get together. We work together. We respect each other. We like and love each other.
And now, the host of the longest running fight show in radio and internet history.
I'm getting tired of people running from me in the ring. Mike Tyson, Holyfield, you a bunch of bums. Stand up and be a man and fight a real fighter.
Pedro Fernandez.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen, coming at you from the multi-million-dollar Sports Pylon Studios. Check it. This is it. Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Often imitated, but hardly duplicated. 37 make that 38 plus years now. I'm knocking out all bums. Who am I? My name is Pedro Fernandez. I am your ever so modest host. When I say modest, think caps. I'm a four-time Golden Glove champion and I'm an award-winning boxing writer. So supposedly, allegedly, I should know a little bit about boxing. But guess what? The average fan, you know a little bit more. You buy the pay-per-views. Or do you? Straight up. Here's a listener line. You want to impart? You can. 1-800-878-7529. The Ring Talk listener line, WBC TV. 1-800-878-7529. Of course, there's also the more popular guilt-free, no-commitment text line. You want to text me here in the studio? That number, studio text line, 415-275-1613. Write this down for the 2-hour show, 415-275-1613. That is our text number. Straight up, we'll bring in Sir Kenneth Ranger from the UK, of course. We're talking about boxing in general. I'll delve into the world of mixed martial arts just for a minute because I like to kick Dana White around. I think he's the biggest pimp in the history of the actual sports world. I've never seen a guy pimp off athletes in my entire life more than Dana White. Of course, Dana White is the president of the UFC. That's probably all the big info he needs to know. But the bottom line is he's rocking and rolling. He's making all kinds of money. And if boxers don't step up, if boxing doesn't step up, they're going to lose the mantle to the UFC. That's what we'll talk about in depth today on Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Straight up, 1-800-878-7529 is 1-800-878-7529. The big mouth won last night. She won by a 10-round shutout. I'm talking about Clarissa Shields, the world middleweight champion. That and more today on Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
mucha fuerza al término de cada episodio y en esta, evidentemente siendo el hombre de casa.
Betting. Email a screenshot of your account to worldwidesharp@gmail.com and all. The only way to know all my plays the moment I make them. Let's
Side Network's outstanding 8-part podcast series, Behind the Barrier, Voices from the Negro Leagues. Here, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and others share their stories of the Negro Leagues, the challenges that the players face.
Hey guys, this is Brian the Wine Punch Valoria. Stay tuned to WBC TV and FIT.
And a poking, pouring water on his smoking. Then this might shock and amaze you, but I will destroy Joe Frazier.
The man, the myth, the legend. Born Cassius Clay, said that was his slave name. Of course, Muhammad Ali, the 3-time world heavyweight champion. We'll delve into his career a little bit in hour number 2. Of course, hour number 1, I'll bring in Sir Kenneth Rainford in about 10 minutes here, of course, coming to us from the UK. I keep trying to get John Stracey. John Stracey is the former world welterweight champion from the UK, a former WBC welterweight champion, beat Jose Napoles in Mexico, pulled off a stunning upset. Anyway, he has played with King Charles. So I keep trying to get Sir Kenneth Rainford knighted as a knight there, or a lord, something like that. I want to get him recognized. Bottom line is, he is boxing goodwill ambassador from the UK, no doubt about that. And he will join us in about 10 minutes here on Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Now, Gervonta Davis, of course, the rage of boxing right now, the pound-for-pound king, I don't know if we can go that far, because the bottom line is Ryan Garcia folded like a cheap pup tent, if not a cheap pup. Of course, a fortnight ago in that fight, it was a mega fight, a huge fight, sold out the T-Mobile Arena, of course, in a couple of hours, and everybody was watching on pay-per-view, 2 million pay-per-view buys, something like that. Bottom line is, Ryan didn't come to fight. If you ever seen a guy walk to the ring, let me tell you, walking to the ring, when you walk to the ring, you have to be programmed at that point in time. It's over. It's going down. Okay? You got no more time to be scared. None of that kind of stuff. The anxiety left that in the dressing room. Let's go. I mean, the rush is on, right? The rush wasn't with Ryan Garcia. There was no rush. There was no sense of urgency. I'm serious. I mean, he never threw a punch with bad intentions on it. I mean, he went there and he went in with a cracked rib too, or a hurt rib. Come on. Joe Goosen, of course, the trainer extraordinaire, the man that brought us the Ruelas brothers, both Gabriel and Rafael Ruelas, of course, both world champions in the 90s. And, of course, Michael, second to none, the champion in 1991 when he upset James Toney for the World Middleweight Championship. But Joe Goosen, I thought, and that's why I was backing Ryan Garcia in this fight with Gervonta Davis, is I was backing Joe Goosen. I thought that Joe was enough of a trainer, enough of a stringent trainer that he would, put the thumb down on this guy. Well, guess what? He came up with a tape. I saw him on YouTube about two or 3 days ago, and he said, quote, get this, folks, get this, Ryan Garcia, Joe Goosen. He says, training Ryan Garcia is not as simple as you think. It's not really training Ryan Garcia. You have to, quote, collaborate, end quote, with him. What? Say what? Collaborate? Who's this guy? Who in the duck does he think he is? Ray Leonard after Marvin Hagler? I mean, come on. He's Ryan Garcia, okay? The king of social media, without a doubt. And listen, if I had, I'm going to go back to it. If I had the physical advantage that he had over Gervonta Davis wouldn't hit me in the ass with a ping pong paddle. Maybe a tennis racket. I kid you not. I would be moving on that guy. He's real primitive. I'm talking about Davis. Davis comes to stalk. He's a hunter. He's coming to kill you. He's a predator, okay? You stand still, you're going to get whacked. You hit him on the way in, he can't get that close. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I thought Ryan Garcia had more than a slim chance of winning this fight. But guess what? Ryan Garcia lost the fight. I don't know if he lost the fight in training or lost the fight in the dressing room or lost the fight. He had lost the fight. Emotionally, he was lost going into the ring. Of course, got hurt in training, But at the end of the day, when you think about all the inherent bad habits that he's incorporated into his style, I'm talking about throwing the jab and then dropping it when you come back and throwing right hands or dropping them. This, I mean, he's a sucker for a counterpuncher. He's just, I mean, he just is. You just want to sit and wait and counterpunch. Little guy, I'm talking about Gervonta Davis, he just waited. Right time, he counterpunched Garcia, knocked him down in the second round, of course, and then finished him with a very suspicious body shot. Let me tell you, if my mother was not the most astute boxing fan in the entire world, but she watched me fight, okay? If I went down from a shot like that, my mother would leave the arena. She would leave. She would drive away. I would have to find a way home. That's just, I mean, I'm telling you the truth. She wouldn't let me get away with that. Nobody would let me. Come on. He just flat out punked out anyway. The fight of the night, the fight of the year, made lots of money. Bottom line is Ryan Garcia should be arrested for impersonating a professional fighter. Last night, the world middleweight champion, of course, we're talking about the women's world middleweight champion, of course, the lady out of Detroit, Michigan, Clarissa Shield, 14-0 now. Only 2 knockouts, dominated late substitute Marcela Corneo. Corneo coming at 16-5 with 6 KOs. Of course, not a big fight there, but it was a big fight for women. Listen, you want to watch women fight? Watch Cianessis Estrada. I think she fights at like 105 pounds, but they put 8-ounce gloves on her hands. So in other words, she's got like these super weights on both hands. She's only 105 pounds, 110 pounds. She can whoop. She pound for pound. I think she's the best woman in all of boxing. She makes Clarissa Shields look amateurish. I mean, Clarissa Shields can't punch. This girl can punch a little bit at 105 pounds. There's other girls, of course, in the world of boxing. I think, without a doubt, you know, when you look at the world of boxing right now, Laurie Taylor, of course, a girl from Ireland, the world lightweight champion, having lost that junior welterweight battle a fortnight ago. She's supposed to do a rematch with Amanda Serrano, who I think is not the pound for pound queen of women's boxing, but she's close. The reason why I say she's not the pound for pound queen, I mean, she's got the longevity, she's got the numbers. I think she's only lost like 2 fights in like 40 or something like that, and she's been around a long time. But the miles are on that car. The miles are, I mean, her odometer is ticking and ticking and ticking, and it's only a matter of time before she gets old. I mean, she looked old that last time out, drying out that many times, 40 times to dry out for a weight. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, I think she may have seen her better days. But as far as women's boxing is concerned, of course, women's MMA is like more exciting. Why is women's MMA more exciting than women's boxing? Smaller gloves. That's all it is. That's the only difference. That is the only difference. Smaller gloves. I mean, these girls are throwing with 4 ounce plus. You can hit somebody on the ground, but I'm not into that. I think that's where the UFC in the world of mixed martial arts has it wrong. Because when you hit somebody when they're down, in other words, this is the ground, and I'm hitting it. There's nowhere to go. Okay, there's nowhere for your face to go. There's no way. You have to absorb the punch with your cranium. Okay, that's not the way it should be. In boxing, bam, bam, you get hit, your head goes backwards. Okay, your head goes backwards, but not in the world of mixed martial arts when you're on the canvas. And at the end of the day, the doctors in Nevada, especially in Nevada, I mean, Nevada State Athletic Commission, they were so pro. I mean, they had a couple of boxing deaths down there. I watched one of them, Jimmy Garcia. That was very sad. Of course, Johnny Montanez, I watched him die in the ring down there in Las Vegas at the Orleans Hotel. That was really sad. I mean, he fought a guy, James Creighton couldn't punch to save his life, and James Creighton knocked him out and killed him. It was crazy. Anyway, bottom line is, I've seen 3 ring deaths. Okay, there's something you always carry with you. I remember the first ring death I saw, Rico Velasquez, in 1989 down in San Jose, California. I begged the referee. His name was Hank Alespru. Henry Hank. Hammer and Hank, they called him. He was a drunk. Along with Ken Gray, who ran the State Athletic Commission, he was also a drunk. Okay. Bottom line is, I said to him, I walked up to the ring. I mean, Rico had been getting, I mean, we're talking about one of the worst beatdowns you ever seen in your life when David Gonzalez was beating on this guy, just beating on him. And David was a vicious guy. David would beat on a guy until he started to wobble and then back off. That's how sick David Gonzalez was. Gonzalez with an S. I kid you not. That's how sick he was. In fact, he was involved not one, but 2. He was involved in a ring death. I think he killed Robert Wangila, the guy that I was supposed to rumble with in 1947, the 147-pound Olympic gold medalist in 1984. Of course, he and I were looking at each other in the gym in Top Rank, in the Las Vegas gym at Top Rank. Of course, that was a sparring session that never occurred. But I think that David Gonzalez killed him in a fight, and David Gonzalez killed somebody else by shooting him in the back of the head by accident in a car in Houston, Texas. That was like 25 or 30 years before his boxing, a long time ago. So anyway, Gonzalez was a bad guy. Okay, so I went to the referee, Hank Alespru. I mean, Rico's been knocked down 4 or 5 times in this fight, at least officially. Okay, a couple other times unofficially. Called them slips. And get this, I went into his dressing room before the fight, and I saw him, and he had black eyes. He had 2 black eyes. I mean, he looked like a raccoon. He looked like a raccoon. I'm saying to myself, 2 black eyes, 2 of them. You two black guys sort of are indicative of a broken nose. Okay, a broken nose, right? So he went into this fight with a broken nose. His father, Rico Velasquez Sr., put him into this fight with a broken nose. Okay, so he goes down, he fights this guy, David Gonzalez. He's getting killed. And before the final round, I think the final round was the final round of the fight. I think it was a 12-round fight, but it was in the 10th round. Before the 10th round, I went to the referee and said to him, please, Hank, stop the fight. He's going to die. He's killing him, Hank. Please stop the fight. Those were my exact words. You know what the referee told me? He took his handkerchief, he wiped off his brow. He said, son, let me do my job. Go sit down. 2 minutes later, Rico Velasquez was dead. Okay, that's how. Listen, you can feel the Grim Reaper in the room. Arthur Serrano fought Roy Jones. Some of you might remember that on pay-per-view back about 1992 on the Greg Haugen Boom Boom Mancini finale card, of course, from Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the world, of course, where men are men and so are most of the women. But but when Roy Jones did that to Art Serrano's eyes rolled back in his head. I said to myself, another dead man. I mean, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So you can sense when you're a boxing fan, you've been around ring deaths, and I've seen 3 of them. 3 ring deaths. Horrible. Okay? You can imagine. So the feeling I had after boxing, about boxing, each time after each ring death, of course, I was like, nothing to do with it. But the bottom line was I realized that more people get killed in football. I mean, more people get killed in high school football. High school football is a killer. In fact, some of the guys that I went to high school with, I see them at reunions, and I say to myself, how many fights did this guy have? I mean, that's what I say to myself. How many? I mean, because he had like 150. Hey, Pete, how are you? Say, what? Didn't you used to talk real sharp? Well, what's going on? Bottom line is, it ain't boxing. It ain't. Well, some of it may be booze, but the bottom line is, it's high school football thing. Some of the guys I played that played high school football. Thank God, when I was a sophomore, I was playing with Tiger Dela Cruz, and I was playing quarterback, playing some tackle in the sandlots in the park in a park on Hillside Boulevard in South City. Anyway, he broke my shoulder. He tackled me. Him and Jack Tinatale hit me, broke my shoulder, and that ended any football aspirations I had. Besides, I was too small. Anyway, but the bottom line is that ended it right then and there, without a doubt. Can you break your shoulder, your clavicle bone? Some guy he planted me on the ground. I've never been planted before. Jack Tinatale, he was like 215 pounds. I was like 115. Bam, I got planted without a doubt. So I realized size matters in 2 things: pornography and combat sports. Of course, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Your inside look into the world of boxing and MMA. Coming up after the break, we'll take an early break here. Of course, we usually go at 24 after, but the people down there at VTV and WBC TV will take a 1-minute early break. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Coming up, Sir Kenneth Rain from the UK, right after the break.
Hi, I'm Karthik Satyanarayan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wildlife SOS. You can help save India's wildlife by subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also like, comment, and share this video. Thank you.
Thousands.
Assassin Johnny Tapia, of course, back in the day, he and I were pretty close. Of course, he had his split personalities. When he was cool, but when he wasn't, look out, straight up, that is Johnny Tapia. Now we take it to the UK, of course, and bring in the man. I'm trying to get the King Charles tonight, make him a Sir Lord, something like that, give him some royalty. I'm talking about Sir Kenneth Rainford. How are you today, Kenny?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How's your daughter? How's the champ?
They're all good. They're all recovering from the recent holiday we had in Gran Canaria. So yeah, we're just getting over the holiday.
All right, so you guys went to Puerto Rico. You know I'm Puerto Rican, and I won't go to Puerto Rico.
Oh really?
No. But no, listen. I mean, it's okay, but I just think it's not what the economy is really bad, and I think the people are really oppressed. I felt bad last time we had a big convention there, and I was talking to one of the waitresses, hitting on one of the waitresses down there in the bar, and I found out they were charging me $15 a drink. How much do you think they were paying her an hour? $3, $3.99. She was getting $3.99 an hour plus tips. That's like the Dana White in the world of the UFC. Anyway, enough subjects on that. I want to switch the subjects, of course, to the Mauricio Lara Leigh Wood fight of a couple of weeks ago or last week. Of course, Leigh Wood avenged his KO loss to Mauricio Lara with a WBA featherweight title, working like 12-round decision. Of course, the scores like 118, 109, 118, 109, and 116, 111. Lara didn't make weight, and then he didn't throw too many punches. He averaged like 65 punches a round in his last five fights. He only threw 20 punches around in this fight. Did he go in the tank? Did you guys buy him out? Did the English mafia get to this guy before the fight?
I don't really know exactly what went on there. And in fairness, I haven't seen the fighters yet because obviously being traveling about, I haven't quite a few fights. I haven't seen this yet. But there's rumors flying around here and everywhere. The game is. It's always had it's slight corruptness, but it's
are people in the UK hinting at the fact that it might have been chicanery involved with that fight?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
two ways about it.
Here's what's up. The guy didn't make the weight. First, when he didn't make the weight, I said to myself, he didn't make the weight. I said, okay, he'll be cool. He'll use that weight advantage when he gets in the ring. You know what I'm saying? There was 3.5 pounds. The guy's a skinny guy. I'm talking about Leigh Wood. He's a skinny guy. Lara's a pretty buff, wide-shouldered guy. I said to myself, okay, we use that as a weight advantage. We go into the ring like 145, 150 pounds. So we dwarf Leigh Wood as far as body mass is concerned. But then he got in the ring and didn't throw any punches.
Like you say, something smells there. The weight advantage, if he was struggling at the weight and they realized he couldn't make the weight and they used that weight advantage to keep him strong, well, then it should have showed in the fight. But, if it has not happened on both occasions, either making the weight and not making the weight, something smells in there.
Okay, I got to bring up the most horrible fight to occur in the UK in a long, long time. You know what I'm talking about? Chris Billum Smith, of course, and Lawrence Okoli. Did you get a chance to see that one? I hope not.
I didn't see.
Thank God you didn't. It was a 12-round majority decision. Put it this way: the score. Let me tell you how bad this fight was. The scores were 112, 112, 160, 107, and 150, 108. I mean, the guy was questionable knockdowns. Guys taking knees. I mean, Okoli was supposed to be a prohibitive favorite going in there, but that was another fight. I sort of smelled something there too. That Billum Smith is not the greatest fighter in the world, but he sells tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am a fan of Lawrence Okoli. I've mentioned him on the show before, but it's just too many of these bad decisions going about.
Okay. Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor, of course, going to hook it up at the Garden pretty soon. Of course, Teofimo Lopez, of course, the former lightweight champion, and Josh Taylor, the man that really should have fought Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall scored a 10-round decision over some guy named Darryl Foley last week. It was 22-4 coming in, no surprise left. That went out 22-5. Does Josh Taylor win this fight with Teofimo Lopez, or is Lopez that far gone you can stick a fork in him?
I think Lopez is gone. I think they've studied Lopez, got the gym workouts on him, and I think they've got him as Rich Pickens to bring Taylor back up there. Catterall should have got that rematch. He waited and waited for it. As you say, he boxed a 10-rounder the other night, and it looked pretty ordinary doing it. But that's probably because his mind's been elsewhere trying to get this rematch.
Listen. People don't understand it, and I can't explain it to them, but there's nothing quite like getting screwed in a boxing match. I can't tell anybody unless you've been there. I can't explain it to you. And I try to compare it to like playing blackjack, because most people have played blackjack in their time. Okay, you get a king and an ace, you're going to win, right? An automatic win, right? No. Some guy beat you with a 16, and you a king and a 6. You say to yourself, how the duck did that happen? Well, it happens in boxing. It's absolutely incredible. Of course, Vasyl Lomachenko losing a two-point decision, 115-113 across the board to Devin Haney a fortnight ago for the World Lightweight Championship. Dave Moretti, the Las Vegas-based judge, of course, in the 10th round, Haney was almost out on his feet. I mean, I thought he might have been being close to being stopped there by Lomachenko, and yet Dave Moretti scored the round for Devin Haney. So we've got some corruption in Las Vegas. The week before that, Tony Weeks stopped the fight that with Barbosa and Raleigh Romero, in which he had no business stopping. I mean, this stuff looks criminal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's been some ropey Vegas judging and refereeing, but I'm a fan of Tony Weeks. I don't know what was going on there.
Listen, Kenny, I hate to interrupt you, but being a boxing historian of sorts, I went back in history to see myself, where was the worst stoppage outside of that? And I had to go back all the way to 1983, I think it was 1983, and Michael Dokes and Mike Weaver, when referee Joey Curtis, who was a mob guy, who was definitely a Las Vegas mob guy, without a doubt, he was a mob guy, a crook, without a doubt. He stopped that fight in the first round, stopped Mike Weaver, gave Mike Dokes the championship, of course, and then later that night, who was at a post-fight party? Mike Dokes, the referee, and Don King taking a picture together. I mean, that's how criminal that's how criminal he was.
Yeah. And on the flip side of this coin, you've got Tony Perez, who was really put in a bad position with Cooney, Norton, and Mercer against Morrison, where he let it go too far.
Yeah, and I was the one that stopped that fight. I ran up. It's funny you brought that up. Tommy Morrison and Ray Mercer. He was getting a beating. I just watched some guy get killed about 3 weeks ago. I just mentioned that, Rico Velasquez. So I ran up to the ring, and I'm yelling at Larry Hazard, "Larry, stop the fight, waving at him." So Larry Hazard told the referee to stop the fight. That's how that fight got stopped.
Unreal.
Hey, and I ran from like the 10th row. So there were a lot of punches being thrown.
Oh, I'm telling you. I mean, Tommy Morrison, look, he didn't. Both Norton and Morrison were lucky they didn't lose their lives that night. They were taking full-blooded shots, at least maybe 6 punches too many. I don't know, But on the flip side of the coin, you've got the referee who did the, when Wilder dropped Tyson Fury. A lot of referees would have stopped that fight. Yet he continued to count and let Fury get up at 8.
Well, I think I would have stopped it when I saw Fury's eyes were closed and he was asleep. But when he woke up, I would have realized I made the wrong decision.
Exactly. Well, that's how close the call is.
True.
And how hard a decision the referee has got. But back to what you were saying before about dodgy decisions. Yourself, you've been in the ring. There's nothing worse than training your butt off, living the life, eating the right food, training, and winning a fight, and a referee takes it off you.
Well, I mentioned this yesterday, and of course I had 5 Golden Glove championship fights. I lost one of them, the first one to Mike Christie, and of course they took away 2 points in that fight. Mike Christie's a good fighter, a great fighter without a doubt, but they took away 2 points from me, and it was a 3-2 split after 3 rounds, and they gave it to Mike Christie. So what I'm trying to tell you is when I met up with the referee later in my life, 1992, we were in Malaga, Spain to get a WBC convention. I got him drunk, and he told me that the tournament director told him to lean on me and to take any points where he could and not let me get away with anything. So when you think about that, it shows you that even the straight guys are a little bit crooked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what's speaking of straight guys, and he's straight sexually at least. Talk about Tyson Fury. What's up with Tyson Fury? Is he the biggest con in the history of boxing in the past 25 years or what? He ain't fought nobody better. He's fought nobody better than you or me of late.
Yeah, well, I've not really spoken to anyone in the last 2 weeks about boxing. But ironically, his manager Spencer Brown, his promoter is Frank Warren, his manager is Spencer Brown. He called me up just before we were having a conversation about something, and he was telling me that it's almost certain now that he's going to take the Usyk fight for some outrageous amount of money, something like $70 million is in the pot for it. But he's also telling me that foreign money are trying to get Fury to fight Francis Ngannou and this guy John Jones. But these guys aren't from the boxing world; they're from another.
True. But here's what's up, though. I would be afraid of Ngannou. He hits that hard.
I remember we had this conversation. I wasn't real, clued up on him, and I've gone to see him. But Tyson Fury likes big guys. The thing with Usyk is now, and this
Kenny, I got to put you on hold. Running up on a hard break. Hold on 1 second. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Running up on Network Break Force. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide on WBC TV. Welcome all you viewers. This is it. The inside look at the world of boxing. Straight up Ring Talk Live Worldwide returns after the break.
Everybody loves to hear that they have performed a job well done, and we are no exception. Our goal is to give every customer 5-star service, and it usually results in our customers sharing their experience with the world. Take a look at what one of our customers said about us.
Prompt, professional, personable, qualified, and genuinely helpful. I highly recommend AAA Discreet Investigation. I am deeply thankful for Pedro's help, and his unique expertise gives him a notable advantage that will be to your benefit. He provided the evidence I needed in court to win my case. Top-notch, stellar choice.
And we'd love to leave you raving too. You'll discover the real meaning of customer satisfaction when you work with us. We're confident you'll appreciate our attention to detail and unparalleled quality. Call us today at the number on your screen or visit us online. We look forward to working with you. Thanks for watching.
Mucha fuerza al término de cada episodio, y en esta, evidentemente siendo el hombre de casa.
Hey guys, this is Brian the Wine Punch Valoria. Stay tuned to WBC TV and VID.
Pro.com. Now, more Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
I'm not invincible. The great Floyd Mayweather is invincible. Nobody's invincible. You just have guys that are really, really good at what they do. and that's just what it is. But anybody can be knocked out. Anything can happen in that ring, and that's why boxing has the buzz and intrigue that it has, and that's why it'll never die. Because I'm a huge sports fan. I watch all sports, but it's something. It's one thing to watch a team sport, but it's something else to watch two men at the highest level battle, and one may be favored over the other, but you never know what's going to happen. And that's why boxing is the way it is.
In 2004 Olympic gold medalist, 168-pound world champion, 175-pound world champion. I'm talking about Andre Ward, the son of God. And yes, he lives up to that reputation. He is the son of God. I kid you not. Him and his wife are like angels. They've never had any issues, and he's just a wonderful guy to be around. So when he pushes this son of God thing on you, he's for real about it. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look into the world of boxing and MMA. Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith, are they going to do it again, Kenny?
Yeah, they're going to do it again. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, is Liam Smith like does this guy know what Just for Men is? I mean, he needs to dye his hair, man. This guy's got he's got more gray hair than Santa Claus.
He lives by me, and we've nicknamed him the ice cream because he looks like an ice cream.
Okay, so the guy lives near you. What's happening with him and Eubank? Eubank Jr., is he straight?
It's going to be straight, yeah. It's going to be, yeah. He's a straight guy, you know. He likes, he celebrates with the drink afterwards and stuff like that. But while he's in camp, I haven't heard any stories of him doing anything outrageous, you know.
Okay, back to Oleg Usyk. He just signed a contract with the Saudi Arabians, the promotional company in Saudi Arabia. They're going to give him all kinds of money, I guess, blank checks. Both these guys are sitting on the shelf. Is there enough money at the end of the rainbow that they can sit on the shelf and still make it at the end, or are they watching opportunities get away?
Do you know what? The way I look at it now is, like yourself, I love looking into boxing history. These guys are on the shelf so long now. You're forgetting who they are.
Yeah.
And they're bringing the game, down with them. I can tell you straight as well. Andy Ruiz was offered a fight with Joshua, and
the fat man.
No, not yeah. The fat man was offered, and he wanted 20 million. Can you believe that?
Hey, listen, you got to buy. He's got a big food bill. I mean, the guy feeds. Look at he's 200. Listen, if ever there was a guy that was a disgrace to boxing, I think it's Andy Ruiz. Now, why do I say that? Because he's fat as a pig. I mean, he's fat as a pig. He's had dietitians. He's had nutritionalists. He's had this. He's had that. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, his girlfriend showed some drugs on the table, said they were his, showed his hand. Of course, his hand was on the table one time during the video in which there was some cocaine on the table and Hennessy. So the guy's a big party guy. I wish to God he would just go away.
Yeah. Well, I was somewhat of a fan of his because the way he turned up and beat Anthony Joshua, but then he turned up even fatter for the rematch, and he's let himself down big style.
He started training. He started training for the rematch at 317 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
He weighed in, I think, at 283 anyway. Listen, Andy Ruiz makes me long for Chris Arreola. And this it is. Anyway, Canelo Alvarez, he wants to do the thing with Dimitri Bivol again, of course, in the rematch. Bivol beat him handily the first time around. Kenny, in rematches, it usually goes more one-sided for the guy that won the first time. I can't see Canelo turning this around. Can you?
No, definitely not. He got handily beaten, and he just took one step too far. You can only go so far, jumping up weights against naturally bigger guys. And although Canelo's got a granite chin, and he takes a hell of a shot, and you can see as he goes up in the weights as well, his work rate slows down. He becomes more pedestrian.
And he gets thicker. Yeah. I mean, you put on the weight, you get thicker. I remember when I asked Ray Robinson why he fought Joey Maxwell for the light heavyweight championship, and then he died in like the 11th or 12th round from the heat. I asked him why he came in so close to 160 pounds when he could have went up to 175. He said, "I fight at my best weight, not at the weight they tell me to fight at."
Correct. That's exactly right. You could fight a light. You could be, say, super middle. You could be fighting a light heavyweight. But if like 170 suits you, you're better fighting at the 170 than trying to put an extra an extra lump on your back to carry around for 12 rounds, you know?
Well, I'll never, and I keep repeating this, but I'll never forget the jump. I was having problems making 139. That was the junior welterweight limit back then. I was having problems making it. I think I screwed up on one fight, came in at 141 or something like that. So anyway, I said to myself, I'm going to 147. I told my mother, my training team, we're going to 147. They said, okay. So I went to 147 and I got spanked. I mean, I beat some average guys, but I couldn't beat anybody above average or close to being above average. Bottom line is size matters in two things, Kenny: pornography and combat sports.
That's a great saying, and true.
It just is. Speaking of size, Illinois is stepping up from 118 to 122 pounds, taking on the WBC and WBO 122-pound champion, super bantamweight. Talk about Stephen Fulton. Fulton comes into the ring at 145, 150 pounds. Will that size advantage do him any good?
You know, when you're putting that kind of weight on, you know, from the weigh-in to when you step in the ring, that's dangerous. That kind of stuff. Do you not think?
I think it's dangerous. Listen, what I think is dangerous is that the UFC allows people to cheat by. I mean, guys weigh in at 170 pounds and they step into that cage at 205 pounds. What kind of crap is that? 35-pound weight advantage. Dana White doesn't say a word because it's his guy.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's not only the weight they're putting on. You've got to understand what they've been putting their body through to dry out to make that weight. That's not good.
Oh man, I remember one time that a fighter told me about enemas and all kinds of weird stuff, and they James Toney, when James Toney fought Roy Jones, I think in 1993, he went through all kinds of extremes to make the 168-pound limit because he listen. James Toney at one point in time was the world middleweight champion, 160 pounds when he beat Michael Nunn. But he was a high school quarterback that weighed 205, 210 pounds in high school. So for him to go down to 160 and 165, 168, he was killing himself. But he did it, and of course, and beat Michael Nunn. And now I heard somebody told me he's going to take on Donovan Ruddock, Razor Ruddock, in some type of exhibition this year. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I have, yeah. I thought it was a joke at first.
Well, last time I saw Razor Ruddock, he was laying on the canvas. Tommy Morrison put him there with a big left hook. And I thought the referee stopped that fight a little bit too soon because Tommy Morrison, of course, was a house favorite that night. That was the last time I saw Tommy. He was laying on a bed in Kansas City, Missouri, in the penthouse of this hotel. I think it was a Hyatt Hotel. He was laying on this bed. We're having a party up in his room. And he was laying on his bed, getting his eyes stitched up. And he was HIV positive right then and there. Everybody knew it. In fact, I saw an interview with his mother about a year ago. His mother said that they knew he was HIV positive 10 years before it was true, before it was even announced. Did you hear anything about that?
I actually got told that he was HIV positive before he
turned pro.
Before that. Oh, yeah, he couldn't help himself, But you know about these anabolic steroids and stuff. Did you know that there was no VADA testing for the Usyk Anthony Joshua fight?
Nothing surprises me when Anthony Joshua was involved.
Because that's what Tyson Fury is demanding. He's saying if he takes Usyk on, or whichever way you want to look at Usyk takes Tyson on, he's asked specifically for VADA testing to be done throughout both camps.
As far as Usyk is concerned, I think I would want him drug tested, regardless of his size. But I still think, listen, if you give me a 5-inch height advantage over somebody, a 6-7-inch height advantage over somebody, and a body mass advantage height over somebody, and a reach advantage over somebody, they're not going to hit me.
Well, that's what I keep telling Spencer, and he keeps telling me. But he seems to think that Tyson has some issues with guys smaller than him, the way they come up through the middle of his gloves and stuff like that.
I mean, case in point, Gervonta Davis. If I was Ryan Garcia with that height and weight, with that height and reach advantage, I mean, he couldn't hit me in the ass with a ping pong battle, maybe a tennis racket.
Yeah. I'm reading from your book. Someone said to me, you can fight a guy the same height or a bit taller than you, or a guy smaller than you. I'd say smaller.
Yeah, without a doubt. What did you think of that body shot that Gervonta Davis ended that big pay-per-view, the fight of the year? What'd you think of that?
Do you know what? I haven't even seen it. I've heard about it, but I haven't even seen it.
Oh, Ryan Garcia went in with a cracked rib or a hurt rib, this and that, and he went down like a dog. I mean, it was sad. And Joe Goosen said, quote, this week, get this, Kenny, quote, you don't train Ryan Garcia. You have to collaborate with him, end quote. Who does this guy think he is? Marvin Hagler or Ray Leonard?
Unbelievable. But you know what? Even if he was one of them, Marvin Hagler done as he's told, and so did Sugar Ray.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. So how's your daughter doing? How's the champion rider doing?
She's doing fine. With while we've been away, the pony's been off to do its training and whatnot, at like a training school. So she's getting ready to get back into action in the next couple of weeks and see what comes of it.
Okay, you and I talked about height and size. Arasandi Lara, of course, a natural junior middleweight, now fighting at 160 pounds, going to fight Danny Garcia from Philadelphia, the former junior welterweight champion. I mean, why would they put this on TV?
I don't know.
Showtime. Showtime. I mean, Showtime is a valuable asset in the world of boxing. I think it is. I think that PBC or whatever you want to call them, Al Haymon and his company, they do an okay job. They put some good fights on there. Sometimes the fight cards suck, but for the most part, they are instrumental in promoting boxing. But this one, I sort of got a problem with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're probably trying to sell a fight on two names, and that's it. Not, relying on the fans knowing the difference in weight and size and where they've come from, But it's a funny thing, that the TV world, though, because I remember when Lennox Lewis fought Donovan Razor Ruddock in England, and I went into both camps and seen them both train. Mm-hmm. Lennox Lewis was struggling with not struggling, but he was working with Vincent Bulwer, a cruiserweight, and one or two others, and Mike Weaver. And he didn't look spectacular in the gym. He was working hard, but he didn't look spectacular. We went into Donovan Razor Ruddock's camp, and he's knocking these guys out left, right, and center. He looked awesome in the gym. And Hank Kaplan, the old boxing historian who was with, said to me, Kenny, the thing is I've been studying Razor Ruddock for these guys, for the Lewis camp. He said, take it from me, Lennox Lewis is going to knock out Donovan Razor Ruddock. And I'll tell you why after the fight. Well, when I watched the fight, and obviously, the story, he got knocked out spectacularly. After the Tyson fight, Donovan Razor Ruddock ended up with a cocaine problem, and it took his chin away from him. So what he was doing was he couldn't allow these guys near his chin in case he got wobbled or he got dropped or something like that. So he was on the attack for that fight, for that camp all the way through, but he was hiding a secret, which was obviously his chin had been taken away from him.
Yeah. You brought up Hank Kaplan. Hank Kaplan was a god to me. He was a mentor to me. I used to talk to him. It would be like 5 o'clock in the morning. He lived in Florida. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. He's on the phone with Pedro.
Oh, yeah. He's a fantastic guy. I used to speak to him about once a month on a Sunday evening. We would chat away about Angelo Dundee and the Miami scene and, fighters that, regular boxing fans wouldn't know about, Jeff Merritt and people like this. And,
speaking of Jeff Merritt took a dive when he came to San Francisco and dived against Henry Clark. He dived in one round. Henry Clark couldn't punch his way out of a paper bag. I knocked Henry Clark down in a street fight here in San Francisco, and he snuck all kinds of people into my show, my boxing show. He opened up the exit door. So anyway, I knocked him down. And then I told Ali, well, I knocked Henry Clark down. He said, well, he didn't have that good of a chin anyway. Oh. Anyway, Kenny, kiss the kid, hug the wife. We'll talk soon.
Go talk to you.
All the best. Sir Kenneth Rainford from the UK, and I am trying to get him knighted, folks. Sir Kenneth Rainford sounds real good, doesn't it? Without a doubt. You are tuned to Ring Talk live worldwide.
We love getting and sharing feedback from our satisfied customers. Our goal is to give every customer a 5-star customer service experience. Here's an awesome review from one of them that we just couldn't resist sharing with you and everyone else.
I was in emotional distress and needed data about a really sticky situation. The evidence Pedro provided helped me put my suspicions to rest. He went out of his way to send me the results as soon as possible. My situation was handled with discretion, professionalism, and thoroughness. A is discreet and highly recommended.
So if you're looking for a company that has the best customer service backed by years of extensive knowledge and experience, then we're the right fit for you. Thank you for taking the time to visit with us today. We look forward to speaking with you, and we're only a call away from serving you.
Hey guys, this is Brian the Wine Punch Valoria. Stay tuned to WBC TV and Fit.
Or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-390-5160. 800-390-5160. 800-390-5160. That's 800-390-5160.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
That's a quote there from Tyson Fury. That's right, I'm not fighting anybody. Maybe he'll take on me or the impeccable one next, but straight up, he's not fighting anybody that can breathe. He's just not the fighter we thought he was. I mean, he came into the world of boxing, beat Vladimir Klitschko, of course, had the 3 fights with Deontay Wilder, life and death, but that one fight where he, like Kenny talked about that, where he got up off the deck. Of course, when he went down, he was out cold. It looked like he was out cold. His eyes were shut. And he woke up like it was some type of scene from The Undertaker in the WWE. I kid you not. Tyson Fury got up from being, from being knocked out, without a doubt, okay? But from that point forward, the 2 Wilder fights are the only thing he really has to brag about. I mean, think about it. Think about it. What has he done? What have you done for me lately, pal? I mean, you fought nothing but a bunch of stiffs. You went down to Australia. You were like testing the waters down there about fighting that guy down there. It's like he lost one fight. He's some schmo. I don't even know his name, okay? And there was another guy you were bringing. Of course, he was from another country in what, Budapest, Hungary, or something like that. So you're looking for all these bums of the month. Listen, you're not Joe Louis. The Bum of the Month Club, you've already fought all the bums you can. You need to step up and fight somebody for real. I mean, the Oleg Usyk fight, I don't think that's the biggest fight in the world for you, but because of the fact you got the size differential. I mean, if you give me that much height and reach on somebody, I'll be damned. Nobody's going to beat me. Like, I'll say it again. If I was Ryan Garcia, and I'll say it straight up, if I was Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis would not hit me in the ass with a ping pong paddle. And you know what? Maybe if I got in real good shape and perfect shape and I was really ripped and ready to go, I say he couldn't hit me in the ass, not only with a ping pong paddle, but a tennis racket or a baseball bat. I kid you not. I mean, it wouldn't even be close. But Ryan Garcia didn't show up for that fight. So what I'm trying to tell you is don't buy any more Ryan's BS, bull spit. Don't buy that anymore. When I say spit on the show, I mean spit with an H. Don't buy any more of his crap. Don't. When he comes on pay-per-view next, don't buy it. Boycott Ryan Garcia. Listen, Ryan Garcia is a bad guy. He's only out for himself. He's out for, Ryan. That's it. And I'm saying most fighters do have to be out for themselves. But the bottom line is you have to deliver as well. And he didn't come close to delivering. So at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia needs to be arrested for impersonating a professional fighter. This is hour number 1 of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Coming up after the racist bias news here on Sports Byline. We'll come to you with hour number 2 of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. We're going into depth, of course. I'll spend some time with Muhammad Ali and, of course, him post-George Foreman. Of course, the biggest upset in the history of boxing in the minds of some people when he knocked out George Foreman in the Rumble of the Jungle. President Mobutu went bankrupt in the entire country down there. Straight up, Ring Talk Live Worldwide after the bias news. The impeccable one, take it away.